Yeah. I've taken my medication. I survived the assault. This video is about the Hopi prophecy, Koyanisquatsi. You've probably never heard of it. She hadn't. She actually, yeah, she damaged me. I came close to popping my cork on her. You people need to learn to back off, especially like an old Jew. This is about, let me keep focused here. You probably never, I got to be sure and spell it right on there's an I, not an A where it sounds like an I at the end. So that disrespect caused me physical pain and discomfort. I actually ended up getting chest pains. But I'm in my bed area now. The avaricious crowd, it's, everybody passing me is usually making it anywhere between $250,000 to $1 million a year or more from their investments and other shit and what they inherited in their business. This is a very wealthy community. They're out there now making poor people in other countries work for slave wages, and instead of them helping them develop their own industries through such goods concepts as the Grameen Bank and micro lending. It's just amazing how stupid people are. The woman didn't even know that we Jews invented baptism, trying to teach me the Bible. I'll get on with the Koyanisquatsi. That's called the teaser at the beginning. I'm having to adapt some unnatural techniques, like doing the manic display the other day, to try to hold your attention while my rambling mind tells you about something that's might be of importance to you. And I've got so many people. I've already had several people they just scope me out. I'm the center of gossip around here. You think that's paranoia? It's not. I told you one woman ratted them out for next door app. I think actually the increase in holiday traffic is beginning to bother my lungs. It's really not please. The emissions coming from that road is about 1 million times worse than this. I don't give a shit what any of y'all say. I'm a full 150 feet away from it. Far side's 200. Just 200 feet away, there are cattle and coyotes and shit. I'm stuck on this side of the fence. That's private property. So, I know you're waiting on Koyanisquatsi. I got it. You know how they tell you coming up, and then they take forever to get to the end. I'm using that same technique. That's what I don't like, is I'm manipulating you so that you. Yeah, see, I'm telling you right off the bat. I'm pretty fatigued. I'm gonna have to fight cramping tonight. I've had to. Like the first time, I told people up in Maine I'm Jewish, but I was gone for a long time between the healing that the Lord gave me and me growing out a full ZZ top 2-foot beard, white. A lot of people hadn't seen me in years. I came back in 2009. I was recovering from the GMO Frankenfood. Oh, it was incredible. Refer to previous videos. And actually, I was looking for a Jewish girl. I was figuring I'm in good enough shape now. I've still got live sperm. Yankee girls actually don't like young punks. They prefer mature men. Age really does not matter to them. It's all about brains and personality and good table manners. Really, honestly. But we Jews, because my family been there forever, we Jews pretty much own, especially like commercial buildings and stuff like that, and a lot of real estate. We own Central Maine. You know, the Gentiles come and go, and we save our shekels. When they leave, we buy it. You know, and they need that money to leave. We're not fucking them. They need that money because there's no economy. It's gone bust again. You know, Maine has just been endless, especially since timber. Actually, even during timber times, it would fluctuate wildly. People would come and go. Maybe that's a movie I should recommend right now. If you want to know more about the you son of a whore, watch The Strange Woman. That's the title. Black and white. It's about Bangor, Maine, back in the day. That place used to be called it's like the Queen City or the San Francisco of the East or whatever. It was just tales I can tell you. But the first time I came back and stuff, and wearing my kippah and skull cap and stuff, you know, young hot looking chicks would go, dude, that's sick, man. And the whole town was, especially that summer, there was just a whole bunch of men from 30 up to my age and shit. This was, 14 years ago. There was just big ass beards everywhere and shit. And when they really seeing you embracing what you are biologically, and you know the book, you know, Jews are actually a very gentle and kind people. They only will be rude to you if you're rude to them. Texans are a lot like that. I should say we Texans, because I am a Texas Jew boy deluxe. And that's with 2 D's and actually 3 D's and deluxe. Oh, it won't be too long. I'm sorry, I really am. They address me as Rebbe and stuff. And they don't talk shit to me like that woman did today, and the woman before her the day before that. Talking smack to me, trying to teach me the Bible. No. They want to listen to what the old man's got to say, because they're Jews. And I've given many short discourses on why something is in the Bible, and I'm getting no disagreements. That was actually, I think, the year that some Jew had been buying up, good Mercedes, inexpensively, and opened up a very good taxi service, because a lot of people in that area, there's seasonal unemployment. There are a lot of them don't own cars because of the incredible cost and difficulty in wintertime. They're there, and particularly in the Bangor area, because there is some public transportation there. And it's snow plowing or digging out snow to get in and out of oh man. But, it's when you really, oh gosh, and actually they were popping up with all these hot young Jewish women. They might be 30 or 32. They still got eggs, but they had looked like they was 22. They were so well kept and slender and hot, smoking. The next thing I know, I got some shiksa, blonde-haired, blue-eyed shiksa. That means nasty girl, not what you on my ass, hunting me down, and oh gosh. And being old and having just come close to death and was sick as a dog for. So now, for the bonus round at 9 minutes, I gave you the teaser up front. Now I'm going to recommend a movie that you watch, because that's what I told that woman when I gave the definition. She admitted that, yeah, we're in that time now. There's a great movie. I can't remember who made it. Somebody. And the music is appropriate for you, really. If you haven't already seen it, I can't believe it. I mean, God, it's like 40 years later. If you haven't seen the movie Koyanisquatsi, I'll spell it in the title. Koyanisquatsi, with music by Philip Glass. You know, I loved it. My wife hated it. Right there, I was going like, we've got a perceptual. I think she found the music kind of irritating. We had just finished. That's what I thought at the time. We had just finished a long trip up from like South Padre. We were tired. We were in La Quinta. We were just making a stop before heading back to my hilltop. And oh my God, yeah. Watch the movie. I'm not going to give away any spoilers other than to tell you what the Koyanisquatsi means, the best of my knowledge, and the other people means crazy life. See where I'm going with this? The woman, my escape from Austin up to here, and then here, right after I got here, there was people went from one face to their other face, and I began to see more and more. It's still nice here, certainly better than, but there's a old Hopi prophecy that revolves around this talk about a time when the world goes crazy. Watch the film, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're living it right now. My name is Kent. It means he who has seen. Wise, past tense. And the prophecy ends, as I recall, as it kind of roughly translates as like when the jug or jar, I'm sure they meant like terracotta or something, or when the jug or jar of fire flies through the sky, that is the end of time. I don't think they were talking about shooting stars or comets or anything. Watch the movie. Koyanisquatsi, I'll spell it correctly. Actually, I think wasn't it Coppola? Francis Ford Coppola that cut the movie, because I don't know, but Philip Glass, look up Koyanisquatsi or music scores by Philip Glass, Koyanisquatsi, and it may lead you to the movie. I'm sorry, I keep leaving my head out of the. Maybe I should just lean over here and try to rest. I, like many seekers of peace and wisdom, and who are endlessly fascinated by little bugs and stuff like that, and all of this wonderful creation, have been alternating between living peacefully on top of the highest hill in Burleson County. I checked, actually, that dam right on top of the retention pond put us as the highest. There's been some slight erosion, but that extra, what was originally 12 feet, added to the top, made it the highest hill in the county. We knew what was going on. I used to have a perfect view from there. I used to drive up on top of that dam, that's what we call them, and the back of my classic 66C 31-ton extra long bed, custom ordered, that I got very inexpensively, 61,000 miles. My wife and I put a barbecue pit up in there, and I'd roll some joints and shit, and we'd put a couple of them first real, actually those heavy duty, very comfortable Rubbermaid chairs and shit, and then we'd sit there and maybe watch the moon come up. And if it was a football night, I go, look, honey, it's before the trees grew up and the dam went down, we had just enough to compensate for that curvature of 16 feet per 5 miles. And I could actually look at the place, gosh, from there to there, it's like 40 miles away. And we could see the lights and stuff. we'd have romantic evenings. I did love my wife. I would still defend her, and I would speak as a witness that she is probably a good woman. Others may have a different opinion, but the only opinions that count are mine and the Lord's. And she comes from a religious family. She's at least goes to church for social reasons, and so I thought I'd do it better because I really didn't. I thought I'd describe the movie to you, but it's really better that you calm the fuck down, maybe smoke a joint, and then sit there and watch it, because it can get a little bit intense. But while you're doing it, you have to think from like a Freudian angle and all the kind of symbology and the insecta category of life and other things. I think that's the difference between me and my wife because I was 9 years older than her. I was 29, she was 20 when we married. And that's really, I guess, pretty much all I got to say. Trying to get ready in the morning. Like I said, I'll have my coffee, I'll have my cigarettes, and then I have a difficult task of putting what little I have into a huge storage space that's way too big for the little, because I've trimmed it down to nothing. If I'd kept all that shit, yeah, I could fill it up. But no, that's not the philosophy I grew up in. That's not the people that I admired. That's not what they taught. George Carlin talks about, what is it? He's got like an 8 or 10 minute skit on, I think, just titled "Stuff." I remember seeing that when it was like live or was recently filmed. It's funny. Had to review when I was looking for it was funny, like the guy who was delivering queso and chips the other night, that in that brief silence, it was able to pick up his voice perfectly from what is it? Well, 18, 20 feet away. And I think some of the problems I've been having is that my voice, I'm talking too loud, and it's because I'm in a noisy environment. If it was the middle of the night, I know I could speak much more softly and still be heard. So anyway, I thank all of you for your kind comments. I want to give a shout out to Fixed Gear. Yeah, you're right about the weird Japanese anime stuff coming out. That hentai thing, I had to look it up. I really don't dabble in weird shit or pornography, or that's actually how a lot of people who come into my house, there's the cabin I built to watch the birds on stilts by my pond, my beloved pond. I loved my life of that thing before. That's too long a story. See, I keep clipping things off and stuff because I can't tell you everything. But I enjoy that so much. I am a bird lover, and really big time. It's the only thing me and my brother, that was a little twitch was my finger. I'm having the only thing I have in common with my brother Charlie is the love of birds, and he probably knows less about them than I do. He might be good at spotting them, but he hasn't spent literally the hundreds of thousands of hours I've spent observing birds, and they're awesome. They're one of my favorite life forms, but God seems to favor beetles. I mean, let me see if I remember this correctly. Of all known species, of from insecta, I think, to the the animal. Uh, it's like 2/3 is or beetles. I guess he just got fascinated with them one day. He was uh, so, and I don't know what to say. I have a bit of dread in me. I'm not without fear. I do have courage. I'm not gonna whine and shit and go, "Oh, I got that. I had my fingers cut off." Shit, dude. I remember that night. I don't know what the hell I ran into, but it made a. Because I even went back and checked, and during light, there was nothing that shape and at knee height, or it went right in the side of the kneecap. I was talking about this earlier. Almost came out the backside, and I had to get in there and dig around and make sure there wasn't any pieces of. Because there was some steel there, but most wood, no. And really, it had that kind of spontaneous response. Like back in the day when I was really healthy and shit like that, I could get a pretty serious wound, and it, if you're functioning really well, you can get a serious gash, and you'll notice that for a while, because you're going into kind of something almost close to shock, it'll actually will shut down blood flow right at the site of the insult, is what is the correct term, and to the human body, and it can take sometimes minutes before they kind of relax and start bleeding. So much of what I've seen in movies is just hilariously stupid. This blood now is not realistic at all. Oh, there's like the gory. The minute you jab somebody, there's just like a gallon of blood comes flying out of them. It's I'm going to end with this, and I think please forgive me. I'm trying to distract myself because it's still fairly early. It's probably just barely 7 o'clock, and I've got to put up with a couple of more hours of hyperactivity. You really can't see it. I'm in one of the best spots around here is as far as kind of getting away from people and not just still too close. I need to rest because you can't rest in a rest home. You cannot rest and sleep in a hospital. I've occasionally didn't watch it, wait until I fell asleep, then they'd come in the room with a syringe loaded with some kind of shit. I'd wake up just in time because they would grab that IV, the catheter, tube, and there's that little injection point up there. And the minute I felt that sensation, I'd come awake and I'd go, "Stop. What is that? Let me see it. What is the name? Who ordered it? Which doctor ordered it?" That's alert. You have, please, tomorrow. Did I already say this? I think I thought it in my head. The first thing I have to deal with is 2, then immediately there will be 3, usually on the nurse level. And then I will be joined immediately within a matter of a couple of minutes as soon as they see what looks like gangrene and maybe gangrene. There will appear 2 doctors. So I'm going to have 5 people who are machine gunning me with questions and stressing me out. I really just don't want to go. I'm really, it's my chemistry, my natural God-given chemistry at the moment. I'm not moving. It produces enough of as I watch it, I'm not really getting enough elevation of mood, but the pain relief, my brain is still making leucine and keflin very good. And I haven't really studied the synthesis of that much. I just know it's only a temporary, it's meant to relieve some pain and make you groggy. the use of opioids, I will finish with this last. So remember, I told you about Koyanisquatsi. That'll be the title. Watch it. I don't want to describe it to you. And I hope the music is to your liking. It's appropriate for the film. And I think it was Francis Ford Coppola. I'll have to check. You see, I know my memory's fading and compressing, and I talk to about it when I do talk to doctors, and they go, "That's you're okay. That's we all know it's normal. I've been studying neurology a lot, for decades. It's going to happen. I've forgotten all sorts of stuff. I've forgotten a lot of the basic laws. I can't even remember right now offhand how to if you ask me to calculate a mole right now, MOLE, a unit of atoms, molecule, molecule. I can't remember the formula for. I'm out of practice because I've been mostly just reading. I really haven't had to do that shit in decades. And I haven't had to do precise. I was going to recommend something else and I already forgot. I feel like I'm making people stare at me while I'll be going to bed early tonight, and that'll just mean I'm going to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning if I go. I'm trying to push it. Actually, I've only eaten 1 tin of beef. Tinned beef. I've eaten every kind of tinned beef and stuff like that. Actually, I'm going to do kind of a product plug with the label off. You'll find cans that look just like this. There you go. At Walmart. With the bachelor lid. Did I put this in a video that I can turn it into a spoon? I've eaten all kind of canned beef and shit, but for $3.74 I get a combination of beef broth and beef and salt, and I think they put a little bit of starch in there so it would brown up when they're making the. It's delicious. It's not too fatty. It's a lot of it depends on each lot, but it's really delicious beef. This is like the best tinned beef I've ever eaten. I mean, I'm as satisfied as a 12-ounce steak after this. And people are out there tonight paying at a restaurant, for, they're trying to kind of control their spending, and they're only spending like $15 or $20 on some little piece of steak that's probably going to be horribly cooked and wasn't hand-picked from. HEB is about the only one that carries well-marbled beef in this region. They've got some good supplies somewhere where somebody has bred, looks like they've bred the Wagyu into a local breed that's acclimated to Texas and to the vegetation here. So we are now, because that's all I've seen, that's all I've been telling my best friend about, is it's just almost everybody I run into is just batshit crazy and all this hyperkinetic. That was my only hint I'm going to give you about Koyanisquatsi. I told you it's going to be could be a little intense for people who begin to realize that what they're seeing is their life. It also, I'll give you a hint, you'll notice that what they're showing constitutes the definition of a biological organism. A little hint. Please watch the movie. I have no financial interest in it. I just wanted to remind you that right now, between what's going on all around the world, and even here in one of the safest communities in Texas, this really is. Let me put it like this. I have been here for 4.5 months. I've been charging my spare battery. It's a big one. But I kind of do put it behind a thing there, and there's one line running to and I kind of go to urban camouflage, and because it's black, you know, you have to get up fairly close to even notice that there's a little black line coming out of that box. So I am going to finish with my usual brief prayer. This is my normal prayer. Adonai, I beseech thee, please restrain the followers of Christ and make all those preachers remind them of what Jesus said in the book of Matthew. That's it, Lord. That's all I ask. That's actually my usual, but I don't even say it aloud. So, good night, everybody. Wish me well. I already have been wished well by. Although today it's one of the reasons I've been productive today, even still making videos, because I know nobody, please, I know all the patterns. I already knew them before seeing them come up in analytics. On Saturday, people usually don't watch, although they'll watch football games and stuff, but they're not going to usually watch films until late tonight. Stuff like that. It's even on YouTube. The dip is usually, Saturday morning going into Saturday night. They don't start watching in my time zone. They won't start watching my videos until it's around 3 a.m. here. It'll be 9 a.m. Sunday. England, East Coast, Canada will begin watching, and the graph will start moving up again. And I ask y'all to please hang with me. I'm maybe out of commission for a few days. I'm probably going to be extremely grumpy after. You never know. I'm pretty resilient. I hate every time you go into general anesthesia, there's a high risk, especially in a person my age, of, going belly up. So I just kind of feel like I'm adrift. I'm at sea. What I've been planning on has been interrupted by a little change of color and a little bit of, just a tiny little bit of cellulitis and still no. I have hope. There's usually gangrene, especially if it's kind of been contained in a band. That's why I fucked up. I really should have been, changing the bandages like crazy. I should have bought hell a lot more than I bought. Should have been changing them as soon as they got, saturated, which would have been, depending on exercise like that, I should have been changing them bandage at least 5 or 6 times a day. That's a lot. And stuff. I'm about to change a bandage here in a little bit, and I'd noticed before in changing them, I was starting to see some discoloration. I may have, especially on the one side of my. I'm sorry, I'm boring you with my minutia of my life. Everybody seems to like the minutia of Hubbo's life. Somebody actually, because I want to make sure that I've got all the hatches battened down, got my stuff in storage, and pretty much walk away from something that the AI is catching. You'll go on there and you'll see comments, and only on my end, there's like 3 separate categories that go into the comments, and then the ones that are questionable, they go into a separate section that I have to select. And then I have to go and look in analytics under comments, and that gets the ones I haven't, saves me time from rummaging through. I've had an awesome life. I don't want it to end like my father's in a hospital. Oh, I got one more. Another prayer. Lord, I rarely, I rarely ask for anything for myself. I usually pray for others. I pray for Bruno and all his family, and I pray for people here and there. And Lord, please let me keep my foot. They came as a pair. I call them my 1950 something. I don't want to give people my footmobile. That's the people going, "How you going to get there?" I got my footmobile, and I'm kind of attached to them. They're still working fairly well. I mean, I have days where I can do 5,000 feet without completely. I can do a mile without completely dying, and still not feel too bad the next day. It depends on the circumstances, and if I were really pushed, I know that I could stop and rest in a say a 16 18 hour day before I had to really rest. You lay down and rest and let the muscles relax. You have to sleep really to let your muscles relax. I could probably do you know 10,000. I could do a couple of miles. When I first came to Austin, I had trouble walking 100 feet. I had been uh, evicted from my own home because of the stupidity of the lower courts, and by a brother that my brother's gone. That's a demon. I've told you the story. You can find it somewhere back in there if you're looking for it. You could literally couldn't see his face. It looked like a. I know I don't sound crazy. Fuck that shit. Tired of people calling me crazy when they tell all kind of Alex Jones shit and stuff. Alex Jones has been a great source of hilarity for me and lots of Texans, and we hate him. People who are really from Austin, trust me, we hate Alex Jones. Oh, maybe some retards who's. I'm sorry, I'm insulting people that are smarter than him. I'm sorry, I'm trying to not make this sound like a goodbye. I don't really have any intent, but they're going to be upset right off the bat because well, I don't give a shit. I told you about the beard thing. They have to put gel, and I haven't trimmed my mustache. Kind of gets in the way in case they got to. Uh, I'm sorry, I can't come up with anything else to say because I've got tomorrow completely organized. I hope I really have the courage to go into a facility that I know that their knowledge of human biochemistry and pharmacology is 30 years behind mine. They're still 30 years behind me. And I'm going to have to argue with them for my life. I'm going to have to. This is a girl came in, I've had 25 years of struggle and suffering. And, oh, please. She was trying, oh, gosh. I'm going to end it right here. I feel like I'm drained of my life at this moment. I'm just wanted to tell you one thing so that you understand that to the best of my knowledge, this Hopi prophecy goes back at least a millennia. When the jug of fire flies through the sky, that shall be the end of time. I think we're in the time of crazy life. I don't have to think it, it's all around me.